In this demo, we will review the Client's Reports tab, which is the third tab in. Once you click on that, you're taken to a blank screen. From this screen, you can choose to search by client ID, the last 4 digits, or the client last name, or you can display all. And what this will do is generate a list of your active clients that you're currently serving for the vendor. Let's go ahead and search by client ID. Once you've typed in the last 4 digits of the client's Social Security number, click the blue Go button. And what we have is the client Pillsbury Doughboy, and notice that the client ID matches my search criteria 4654. Now let's demonstrate how to search by client last name. So if you just have a few letters of the client last name that you're looking for, go ahead and type that in. Click the blue Go button again. And this time I have 2 clients listed. They both have the same last name. If you'd like to see a full list of your clients, click the Display All button. And there you have a full listing of your current clients that you're serving. The layout of the client report screen is, first column is the name of the client, and notice that they are sorted by client last name. The next column over is the client ID, and only the last 4 digits are displayed. The care manager's initials, this would be the waiver agent care manager's initials, the primary and the secondary care manager initial. Close date, if the client is closed, you'll see a close date. You'll still be able to run reports for closed clients up to 6 months. This allows you to resolve any billing issues you may have with the waiver agency. The next column over begins the report names. The first report being the assessment report, the assessment comparison, care setting, current medications and allergies report, current caregivers, and the current medical providers and pharmacy report. To continue with the layout of the screen, let me explain the checkbox. The checkbox located directly beneath the report name will fill checkboxes in for every single client. Okay? And in most cases, you're not going to want to do that. You would never want to run an assessment report on every single one of your clients. The assessment report happens to be 15 pages long. If you accidentally click the wrong box, just simply click it again and it unchecks. Also, if you choose to run different reports for different clients, you can do that. Once you check the clients that you want and the report that you want, simply click the Generate button. Okay? That is the layout of the client report screen. Happens to be the full assessment that's completed by the waiver agent care managers in the home of the client. The full assessment report does not contain any financial information, and it is available to any vendor that is set up by the waiver agent to receive an assessment report. Some vendors will not receive an assessment report. For example, a lawn care provider wouldn't really have a need to see the assessment report. The assessment report is also the most recent assessment completed for the time that you, the vendor, has served the client. If you happen to be a vendor that is not set up to receive an assessment report, what you will see is an X in place of this checkbox. There will be an X in that column. Let's go ahead and generate an assessment report on Pillsbury Doughboy. So I'm going to check the box for Pillsbury Doughboy and the assessment report. I'm going to click the Generate Report button. And what this does takes me automatically to the report download page. Notice that I'm a couple tabs over now. I'll briefly explain the report download page also. When a report is being processed by VendorView and is not yet complete, what you'll see is a please wait, reports are pending. Okay? And every so often you'll see your screen flash, and what that does is just refreshing the screen. That just happened, as you can see. And now the report is ready to be downloaded or opened and printed. Okay? It's no longer pending or processing, and the way you can view the report or open it up is simply click on the report name, assessment. Before we do that, let me explain the layout of this just a bit. This is the report size, that's just computer size stuff. The client name, the client ID, the screening date, which is basically the intake date of the waiver agency, and then the run date. So in other words, we asked this report to be ran today, August 6th at 10:53 a.m. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the assessment report. Click on the link. What will happen now is a file download pop-up will appear, and at this point you can choose to save the report or open the report. If you choose to save this report down on your computer, you're going to want to replace the name with something that's obvious to you. You definitely will want to change the name because later when you go to look for the report for Pillsbury Doughboy, if you leave it as it is, this is not going to be helpful. Okay? All reports on VendorView are generated in Adobe PDF format. Okay, let's go ahead and open the report and take a look at it. Okay, what we have is the assessment report. Let me open this up just a little bit. It's an expanded assessment report. The agency is Test Demo Agent and you, the vendor, Able Home Care. The first line will be the client ID, and again, just the last 4 digits for security reasons. And Pillsbury Doughboy, the care manager's initials, and what reassessment date this is for. So in other words, the last reassessment or assessment that was completed on this client was July 21st. The assessment report only reports back to the data fields that were completed on the assessment. You will not see data fields here that are empty or blank. Okay? And basically this is the data field, the last name, and this is the data that was entered by the waiver agent care manager. Okay? So you have some mailing information, client identifying information. This particular report happens to be one page, we're on page 1 of 9, so this report is 9 pages long. Okay, so if you want to print out this report, just simply click File, Print, or choose the little printer icon, or you can simply click out of it or close. Okay, let's review the assessment comparison report now. I'm going to go ahead and run the assessment comparison report for Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm going to click the Generate button, and while this is processing, let me explain the assessment comparison report. What this report does is it compares the last 2 assessments completed on the client if you, the vendor, have served the client over both time periods of the 2 assessments. Okay? The assessment report will only display fields that have changed. It does not report every single field completed on the assessment like the assessment report does. It only notifies you of data differences. I'm going to go ahead and open up the assessment comparison report. Okay, same client, Pillsbury Doughboy, same information basically, the reassessment 721. In the shaded gray part would be the prior reassessment. So this is comparing the January 11th to the July 21st assessment. And it looks like we have some differences. On the previous assessment in January, there wasn't a state field entered, okay, and now there is, Michigan. On the previous assessment, for a place of assessment was home, and on the July assessment the care manager has not completed that information, so it is no current data value available at this point. Okay, so the gray shaded fields are the previous assessment, and then the ones that are unshaded are the most recent assessment. If you ever get a report where it says no data found, and we have one right here, I believe for Superman, you may want to contact the waiver agency. The waiver agency uses a software tool called PIC, Portable Information Collection Kit, and if they haven't completed the assessment and marked particular fields inside PIC, then the assessment comparison or the assessment report is not available to you. Okay, so just simply contact the waiver agency and let them know that you're getting that back on the report. And again, the waiver agent telephone number is always at the top here. Let's generate a care setting report for Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm going to click the box for care setting report, generate the report. The care setting report basically is a history of the times at home and in the hospital for the client, and what you'll see is start and end dates. Let's just go ahead and open this and take a look at it. Again, basic information for the client, address, a phone number, and it's sort of descending by the start date. So back in April of 2006 until November of 2007, the client was at home. If there's any memos typed in here, you'll see that. This is information that is maintained by the waiver agency at their office in a system called MISIS, and they track the client going in and out of the hospital, nursing home, etc. So you'll be able to see all those different dates. Okay. demo, we're going to review the current reports, in other words, the current medications, the current caregivers, and the current medical providers and pharmacies for clients. I'm going to run a medications report for Pillsbury Doughboy, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to run a current caregivers and a current medical providers pharmacy report. And click Generate button. While waiting for these reports to process, once a report is processed and you've opened it and looked at it or saved it and printed it, it then drops down into a previously viewed reports location on the screen. Okay. The 3 reports that I just asked to generate, they are done, so let's go ahead and open them. The current medications and allergies is just that. It's the current medications that the client has taken, and any allergies will be listed in this report also. Okay, we have the name of the medication, the strength, the route, in other words, how they're taking the medication, the frequency, the doctor that described it, and why. And the reviewed field happens to be a field that's completed in the PIC software by the care manager. That's the current medications and allergies report. The current caregivers report is a listing of the caregivers for the client, the name, the phone number, how they're related to the client, and if they're a primary helper, and also are they the emergency contact or the family contact. Okay, that information is here. The current medical providers and pharmacy report is a listing of the doctors and the pharmacy that the client is currently using. Okay, so we have the medical provider, the business name, and the phone number, contact information, and also the pharmacy that prescriptions are filled at, the CVS pharmacy on Main Street, and the telephone number.